Today I'll be talking all about the newest plugin from Bleass called Tides. Tides is not like any other delay plugin, and today I'll be showing you why and how to use it. Taking a dry sound like this into something much better sounding like this. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's one of the melodies I have for this track, which we can now go on over to Bleass Tides, and on the default preset you can already hear some pretty drastic changes. But we've got a lot of other presets at our disposal here, so let's go over that now. This one sounds really good. It just helps the melody feel way more alive. Same as this one here, it really helps speed up the tempo of the melody. This is a great preset to showcase how you can add distortion to your delay without letting it interfere with your melody. This one's definitely my kind of style. Very full, very wide, adds a lot of depth to the sound. Now we've gone through a few of the presets there, but as you can see here, we've got a lot more that we could go through. You're bound to find something here that you like for any kind of music that you make. So now that we found a preset that we like, we can go over some of these settings on how we got there and how we can change it up. We've got a few different modules here for the delay, and also some more on the back half for the feedback. Let's change up the input filter here. You can hear that get a bit thinner. Getting a little bit more full. Like some of those lower frequencies on in, but don't want to let in too much. Want to separate the delay from the actual input signal. I like how it was before, it was very nice. So we can jump on over to the inertia module over here, where we can find some very familiar settings like time, where you can choose to sync it or have it be free. Or go over to ping pong, go to classic, bouncing between the left and the right signals, and then symmetric. Symmetric sounds really nice to me. As the signal's going through, you can move and change the sound all across the board. Apart from that, we can also program different macros to change things in real time. First, we have to set a destination, so we can go and click on this option right there, and then change up the dry and wet. I want the amount to be 100%, which we can see the dry and wet over here. The minimum value that we set is going to be 50. So the lowest amount that I can go to is 50. The highest amount is going to be 100. We can change it even further by decreasing the minimum value and then play around with the macro. We can hear the dry and wet mix change in real time, which means we can now make an automation clip and set different values for that parameter. So if I put this directly in the middle right here, it'll be moving across 40% and 100%. Creates a really cool effect that's going to be drowned out by the delay. And we can do that with a lot of different parameters as well. Like instead of the dry and wet, we can set it to the distortion amount. This opens up a world of opportunities to be more creative and think of new ways to get different effects. Now this plugin becomes a true powerhouse when going over to the feedback page. Let's put this back on the dry and wet. Then from there, let's go on over to the feedback here and select a new effect. And let's try adding some bit crush, which you can also assign different things to the same macro. Now we can go on over to get our bit crush and then add the depth, set our values. And we still have 2 more pages on this module here that we could use, and then another 4 on macro number 2. Literal thousands of combinations that you could be making here to get something that nobody else has thought of. The most important thing here is to be creative and not limit yourself. We've got other effects even as pitch shifter, a ring modulator, and then even a whole new delay. I'd recommend doing a different delay than the one you've already got going on though. And then at any point you can also freeze the sound and then kill it if it gets too out of control. Going back to our original preset that we had, we can change the LFO. We've got a few different options there for that one. If you don't want to do the automation like I did here in FL Studio, or if you're in a different DAW and don't know how to do it, you can always do it natively inside the plugin as well. Let's get the distortion back over here. Set our destination to the distortion amount. Now I want to really slow this on down. I'll be using the wave like right here. It's perfect. We will sync it and then change the rate. Let's change up the first LFO now for the low pass frequency. Really cool. Just offering you even more ways to be creative and multiply the already limitless possibilities that we already had. All right, now I do have a couple demos that I made using the Bleass TIDES plugin, so let's go to the first one right now. And it's already the same track that we've been listening to, and I've got several different instances of Bleass TIDES on there. Here's the melody with the Back to Future preset. Then a small counter melody with the Abide preset. And a nice little ARP that I found with just the default preset. Then we've got a bass pattern and a drum loop. And it all comes together to sound like this. Now, this next one's going to be quite a bit different, and it's still in the early stages of making the track, but here's going to be the melody / chords that I had for it. Now with Bleass TIDES turned on with the Abide preset. Now, if you're listening on really good headphones like I'm currently doing, the dry and wet are bouncing around at different intervals over here at different times. That's giving us a stereo effect while giving us more movement in the sound as well. Made it sound way more dreamy. This layer here is just a pad. And then a bass. These drums might change, but for now, this is what I've got. With all the different combinations you can make with not only the effects, but also the macros and LFOs you can assign to them, the sky is truly the limit here for Bleass TIDES.